Captain Marvel I want to talk about. Does anybody here care about Captain Marvel spoilers? Can I talk about Captain Marvel and how much I thought it was... I didn't think it was lame. Completely. I did think there were major parts of it that were lame, but I thought it was not good, but okay at best. So if I talk about Captain Marvel, will anybody care about spoilers? I mean, seriously, it's like not only the worst entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but like it's the most pointless movie out of all of them. But that's only because I hate whammon. 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 I hate whammon. So that means I hate Captain Marvel. No, I'm kidding. But I wasn't bored by Captain Marvel, but it did something really wrong. Captain Marvel's biggest problem is that the character Captain Marvel doesn't have any fucking flaws in the movie. Seriously, the only flaws she has in that movie are the fact that other men are oppressing her. And then she stops making them oppress her, and then she frees her true power or whatever, and then that's it. That's her arc. There's no personal flaw that she has to like struggle to overcome, you know? It's just like other people treating her like shit that she has to overcome. There's like it's missing a personal ingredient, you know? And it's they did set up something that they could have used, right? In Captain Marvel. Cuz there's a line near the beginning of the movie. There's like a conversation between two characters where it's suggested that Brie Larson's character, I can't remember her name in the movie, but she has a temper and she lets her emotions get the better of her sometimes. Even though like her performance throughout the entire movie is pretty flat. So it's hard. There's like a misalignment there. It's like you're telling me she's an emotional person, but she's not really displaying much emotion throughout the movie. I didn't hate her performance as much as a lot of people seem to, but it was a very flat performance overall. But there was a conversation there where it was suggested that she didn't have a good handle on her temper, and the movie could have done something with that, you know, because they set up that she has a temper, right? So they could have had a scene where like after she gets her powers back and she's like shooting lasers at everything, there could have been a scene where like she gets too carried away with it and then she causes a bunch of destruction, maybe unintended. And then she kind of realizes the error of her ways, and then her arc in the story becomes that she has to learn how to rein in her newfound power, right, and use it combined with discipline, which that could have been great. That would have elevated the movie from okay to not only good but potentially really good. But that's not what happened. Like, her arc in the movie is literally, like, she has some fucking chip on her head that, like, suppresses her real power, and her arc in the movie is destroying that chip, and then her powers are freed. And once she has her powers, she just shoots lasers at everything, and then the day is saved, and she doesn't learn anything. And you know that, well, to me, it's very clear that was ideologically motivated, right? I have a huge problem with that, because I think the filmmakers, the people behind that movie, were too afraid to give that character any flaws because they felt it would be too damaging to the feminist political movement. You know? Or it's just like, oh no, Captain Marvel can't have any flaws because, you know, we don't want to imply that there's any flaws in this current wave of social media feminism that's happening right now. And I think that's a huge mistake. I mean that's when you jump from telling a relatable story about a human character to that's when you jump into ideological territory where it's like you've made up your mind about what it is you want the movie to be and you're being dishonest about the way you're telling the story, right? And you render the character unrelatable. Like if the character has no fucking flaws, like it's hard for me to care about the character because humans are inherently flawed and it's a character's flaws that make them interesting. So Captain Marvel to me was an effort in ideological filmmaking, which I am not on board with, and I think it's dishonest. But I wasn't bored in the movie. I was entertained enough. I thought it was competently shot. Like I thought the way it was shot was fine. I had some problems with the editing, but nothing major. I was able to follow along with what was happening. There were parts where I laughed. I laughed at the old people, the old people shapeshifters. Her beating up the old lady, that was pretty funny. What else did I like? I liked all the 90s computer gags and how slow all the computers were. Because that was pretty authentic and reminded me of using computers in the 90s, and that shit made me laugh. That was pretty funny. Yeah. And the thing at the end with, like, retconning the first Avenger thing, like Captain America was the first Avenger. I mean, that was the subtitle of his fucking movie. His first movie. But then at the end of Captain Marvel, you learned that Captain Marvel was the real first Avenger because the word Avenger was like spray painted onto her fucking fighter jet or whatever that was. And then that's what gives Nick Fury the idea to call it the Avengers Initiative. And it was like named something stupid beforehand. It was like what was it? The Protectors Initiative or something dumb like that. I'm putting together a team. It's called the Good Guys. What do you think? I don't know. What about the Avengers? Anyway. Okay movie. That's the best I'll give it. It was okay. And I wasn't bored, and I laughed a few times. But I thought it was bad storytelling, and they should have given that character some flaws, and they should have made her interesting, because she's not interesting. I don't care about Captain Marvel, and her powers are dumb. How she gets her powers, like there's some fucking plane engine that has this alien energy in it, and then she happens to shoot it with a ray gun, and the engine blows up. And she absorbs the power that's in it, but it's not explained how her body can absorb the power. It just happens. And then all of a sudden, she's super powered and she can shoot lasers at everything. And I'm just like, this wasn't set up. Like, what is it about her that makes her able to absorb all this crazy energy? Like, you need to explain this shit. It's a very poor origin story for a character that's not fucking interesting. And I don't dislike Brie Larson. I like Brie Larson. I think she's a great actress. She was great in that movie Room. She's been in other shit besides that, and I think she was good in that stuff too. But I don't blame Brie for Captain Marvel. I blame bad writing and directing, and management at Disney or whatever. Whoever's fucking idea it was not to give Captain Marvel any flaws. That was dumb as fuck.